In the early years of the 20th century, Germany was one of the most powerful nations in Europe. Its industries were growing, its military was feared, and its people believed their country was destined for greatness. But everything changed after World War I. In 1918, Germany was defeated. Its economy collapsed. Millions of soldiers returned home broken and unemployed. And the Treaty of Versailles placed heavy punishments on the nation. Germany lost territory, its military strength was reduced, and enormous war reparations pushed the country into economic disaster. For many ordinary Germans, life became a daily struggle filled with hunger, unemployment, humiliation, and anger. Out of this chaos, extremist ideas slowly began to rise. People were desperate for someone to blame and someone to promise a better future. It was during this moment of fear and instability that a man named Adolf Hitler entered the stage of history. Hitler was born in Austria in 1889 and grew up with dreams of becoming an artist. But his early life was filled with rejection and frustration. After failing to enter art school, he lived in poverty in Vienna before eventually moving to Germany. When World War I began, Hitler joined the German army and served as a soldier on the Western Front. Like many veterans, he was deeply shocked by Germany's defeat. He believed the country had been betrayed from within by politicians, communists, and minority groups, rather than defeated fairly on the battlefield. These ideas, mixed with growing nationalism and hatred, became the foundation of his political beliefs. After the war, Germany's weak democratic government struggled to control violence, inflation, and economic collapse. Hyperinflation in the 1920s destroyed savings overnight. Families carried wheelbarrows full of worthless money just to buy bread. Trust in democracy began to disappear. Hitler joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party, which later became the Nazi Party. At first, the movement was tiny and unimportant, but Hitler's powerful speaking ability attracted attention. He understood how to speak directly to fear, anger, and frustration. He promised to rebuild Germany, restore national pride, create jobs, and punish those he blamed for the country's suffering. His speeches turned political rallies into emotional spectacles, filled with flags, uniforms, and powerful slogans. Many Germans did not initially support his extreme ideology, but they were drawn to his promises of order and stability during chaotic times. The Nazi Party also used propaganda very effectively. Through newspapers, posters, radio broadcasts, and mass rallies, Hitler's image was carefully crafted as the savior of Germany. At the same time, political violence became common. Nazi paramilitary groups intimidated opponents in the streets, while democracy weakened further. The Great Depression of 1929 became the turning point. Millions of Germans lost jobs, and businesses collapsed across the country. Fear spread everywhere, and extremist parties on both the left and right gained support. Hitler used this crisis to present himself as the only leader capable of rescuing Germany. In 1933, he was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Many conservative politicians believed they could control him, but they underestimated his ambition. Within months, Hitler destroyed Germany's democratic system from inside. After the Reichstag fire, he convinced the government to pass emergency laws that removed civil liberties and silenced opposition. Political rivals were arrested, newspapers were censored, and the Nazi Party became the only legal political force in Germany. Once in power, Hitler transformed Germany into a dictatorship built on fear, propaganda, and absolute loyalty. Schools taught children Nazi ideology from an early age. The government controlled films, books, music, and education. Citizens were encouraged to report neighbors and even family members suspected of disloyalty. The secret police, known as the Gestapo, spread terror across the nation. Hitler also blamed Jewish people for Germany's problems, spreading racist conspiracy theories that had existed in Europe for centuries. Under Nazi rule, discrimination quickly turned into persecution. Jewish businesses were boycotted, rights were removed, and millions of people were isolated from society simply because of their identity. The system itself rewarded obedience, nationalism, and hatred, while punishing compassion and resistance. At the same time, Hitler rebuilt Germany's military in violation of international agreements. Massive construction projects and military expansion reduced unemployment and created the illusion of national recovery. To many Germans, life appeared to improve during the 1930s, which increased Hitler's popularity. But behind the scenes, the Nazi regime was preparing for war. Hitler believed Germany needed more land and resources to become a world power. In 1939, Germany invaded Poland, triggering World War II. What followed became the deadliest conflict in human history. Nazi forces conquered much of Europe with terrifying speed, while millions of civilians suffered under occupation and violence. As the war continued, Hitler's racist ideology led to one of history's darkest crimes, the Holocaust. 6 million Jewish people were systematically murdered, along with millions of others, including Romani people, disabled individuals, political prisoners, and prisoners of war. Concentration camps and extermination camps became factories of death. Ordinary bureaucrats, soldiers, police officers, and citizens became part of a system that normalized cruelty and mass murder. This is one of the most disturbing lessons of history. Evil is not created by one man alone. Systems of fear, propaganda, economic collapse, political instability, blind nationalism, and public silence can slowly transform society itself. As the war continued, Hitler's racist ideology led to one of history's darkest crimes, the Holocaust. 6 million Jewish people were systematically murdered, along with millions of others, including Romani people, disabled individuals, political prisoners, and prisoners of war. Concentration camps and extermination camps became factories of death. Ordinary bureaucrats, soldiers, police officers, and citizens became part of a system that normalized cruelty and mass murder. This is one of the most disturbing lessons of history. Evil is not created by one man alone. Systems of fear, propaganda, economic collapse, political instability, blind nationalism, and public silence can slowly transform society itself. By 1945, Germany was collapsing under Allied attacks from both east and west. Cities were destroyed, millions were dead, and Hitler's empire was falling apart. Refusing to surrender, Hitler hid inside a bunker beneath Berlin as Soviet forces closed in around the city. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide. Soon after, Nazi Germany surrendered, bringing an end to World War II in Europe. The war had killed tens of millions of people and left entire continents in ruins. The story of Adolf Hitler is not simply the story of one villain. It is the story of how political chaos, economic suffering, public anger, propaganda, and unchecked power can create conditions where extremism thrives. History shows that dictators do not rise alone. They rise when institutions fail, when truth is manipulated, when fear becomes stronger than reason, and when societies stop protecting democracy and human dignity. The rise of Hitler remains one of the clearest warnings in modern history about how systems themselves can create monsters, and how ordinary people can become part of extraordinary evil when fear and hatred are allowed to replace humanity.